Hey guys, welcome back to my another video. In this video, I'm gonna show you that how we can use a params in Angular router. So basically, we will use a params when we move from the one route to another one. And if the route has some params, such as like ID, we wanna grab it, then we can grab really easy on Angular. So let's begin with this demo now. So I have the list of the project here, as you guys can see. If I refresh this page, then it's gonna pull this data from API. So I have created the API here in Laravel, which is one of the PHP framework. And this API will show me the list of the project. If I go to the projects, then it's gonna show me all the list of the projects. And if I go to the with the specific ID providing, then it's going to give me the detailed information about that uh, specific project, which is ID1. So if I go for ID2, then it's going to show me the ID2. So this is the two API which I'm going to work on for this demo. So I have a list of the project here. So I'll just show you the code here. Uh, and I'm gonna only write the code on the params part. So basically, this is the template which I have it here. And don't worry about it. I'm gonna put all the templates in a GitHub so you guys can download it easily. So you don't have to copy or you can easily download it from GitHub. So this is the app.html, which basically this header and only the headers part mostly and the navigation nav. And I use something called router outlet, of course, and to make the work for route. So here after the search, this is the project component. So if I go for the routing here, routes. So in a route, if it's empty, then show me the project component. Okay. So, or if it has a projects path, then show me the project component. So what's the project component is basically it's the list of the project which we get from our service. So if I show the service, I have two services created here. The first service is basically is the API that will provide the list of your project, which I saw you in the Chrome browser before. And another API which I have is to get the specific project based on the ID. Okay. So only I have two services which I haven't assigned or created on the project.service.ts file. So on this, whenever my project component will load at first time, I'm also using the ng X spinner service. Basically, it's the loader service which you can install it pretty easily. ng X spinner service, which you can download it here and you can implement it easily. This is not no need to be added, but it's really up to you how you can how you can make your project is. But I added that, so whenever I refresh this, then I can see the little bit of the loading effect here. Okay, so let's go for a topic about the params here. So whenever we load this project component, then it's going to, the first thing is to show the spin, and it's getting the project. And using the PS basically is a project service, what we define on our service folder here. So here in service, it's gonna get all the project, and I'm also using the tab operator just to make sure that the spinner is off. And I'm gonna return the project in observables. Once the project is returning in observables, then I'm loop the project. It's async and it's inside the data. I have looped all the project, which is all the projects looping up here. And each of this list has the router link here, and that tells that go to the project and ID 1. Okay, that's what it says. Go to the project and ID 1. So if I click it here, then it goes to project and ID 1, right? And if I click it here, it goes to project and ID 1 for now. So now let's make this as dynamic. So instead of telling the go to the 1, then we can say that p.id. So basically in a P, we will get the list of the project. And here is the ID we already printed on it, which is here. So now we are dynamically adding our ID on a router link. So I'll just save this file and I'll click it here. Now it's project/1, okay. And if I click it again, now it's project/2, okay. So we have defined our router for the details part here. If the project has the ID, then go to something called project detail component. So if I go for project detail component here, then it doesn't have anything. And if I show it, then it only have the project detail work, which we see in our screen here. So now let's grab this ID. So to grab that ID, we will use the param, okay? So here we're gonna use the param. So whenever we get the ID, now we need to get the ID here. I mean, we already provided the ID in params, but we haven't received it. So I need to receive the ID here. So now let's receive using the activated route. So let's add the activated route dependency injection here. So whenever we already provided the ID here, and when this component project detail will load, right? I'm going to show this as well. Load, then we need to get the ID, okay? So we can get the ID using the params. Params basically is providing the subscription. It's observable, so we could able to subscribe the data from params. So if I print this, so now it says me ID 1. So if I change this ID to 34 or whatever, then it shows me 34, right? If I 2, then it show me 2. So what we would like to do is when we get the ID, then we want to call the service to get more information about this project. So get project, let's create another by ID. Okay, so if I do, I need to provide, of course, the service which I have created here called project service. So let me define this as project service. So project, right, and service. So once we have this project service, then we will get the project by ID, and we know the ID. I think we will send the ID in parameter here. So here is what ID, and we will get this project. So now let me create this something called project. Okay, make this as observable as well. I haven't created the template or interfaces for the template, so I use any here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this as a project as a $sign here. Okay. So now, so whenever this will call, then we can call this get project by ID and we'll provide the ID here. Sorry, let me see. What's it? It's a d.id. Basically, we will get the D and we will get the ID here. Here, I ID equal to 2. Why we are getting an ID? The reason behind is on the routing modules, I have defined here as ID. If I change something with the test, then it's gonna show me as a test2. So I created like a variable here for this param to grab it. So now I change back to ID, so we will see the ID here. Okay. So whenever we will get the ID, we are also getting the more details about the project from our service, and we are putting that in this observable. And let me add that the loader, which is called ng. Let me grab that loader as well from Spinner. I have recently added this here. So on the Spinner, we can say that while it's loading it, make this spinner as busy, okay, or show. And when it's done, so how we know it's done? I mean, if we subscribe here, then we will know this done, but we are returning the observable. So let's add the pipe here, and inside the pipe, let me add the tab operator, okay? And in tab operator, we can do that using the spinner dot hide. Okay, so we need to of course import the tab operator from rxjs. So now whenever this guy will load, it will call this service, and we want to print our project in HTML file here. So now let me try to see, are we getting it? I want to do as async. This is observable, and I want to show it as a JSON. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, here it is. So whenever it's loaded at first time, it's null, and when we get the data, then we'll see more details about this. Of course, we could able to parse it and put it well. We already did that here, right, in a list item, and yeah, and we can make this as pretty and nicer, and it looks great. And this is how we can use a params in Angular. And I hope you guys learned something new. And please do subscribe my channel. I'm gonna put some more full stack videos here. And thank you very much for watching, guys. Bye for now.